What's up, everyone? This is Gail Dudley with your News in Motion. How are you today? Come on in the room, y'all. Let us know how your weekend, just everything you did. If you want to share something maybe you went out Christmas shopping or holiday shopping or whatever that looks like. When you come in the room, just post it. What all that you have been doing over the weekend. So come on in the room, people. Come on in the room. I see you coming up in here. Come on in and let us know. It's raining here in Central Ohio. So, what is the weather like in your area of city, state, town? Let us know. Come on in the room. Drop it in the comment section. So, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening to all of you. We know you're listening in through audio. And if you are, drive safely wherever you may be going. If you are tuning in live, watching the video, welcome. If you are watching a replay, thank you so much for hanging out with us on the replay. I see you, Riakis. I see you, Jeffrey Allen James. Good morning to both of you. You are in here live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to all of you. I see you, Deborah Johnson. Good morning, sister. How are you? Good morning, Diane Ladybug. Good morning, Kim Edmondson. Good morning to you. When I say good morning, I'm just calling out all those who I see their names popping in. They're tuning in live. Good morning, John Gore. Good morning to you. Good morning, Deborah Sneed. Good morning. Good morning. I'm so happy to be back on a Monday where we will have Kenny Stanley give us the end zone, the wrap up, and everything that he was able to capture this weekend. Good morning, Liz Pryor. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I put the decorations up. I said, let me put some Christmas in here. So, yes, I did. So, if you are listening by audio, they're talking about my Christmas decorations that I put in what I call my studio office. And you know, you can always go to either Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn to see all the comments and also join the comments as well. Deborah said it's warm. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And let me say this, I have a few names I want to shout out. Thank you so much for emailing saying, hey, put my name on the air. So to Lisa Kendricks, we want to say good morning to you. We know you are driving to your office today. Also, Robert Velasquez, I think I said that correctly. I want to say good morning to you. I also understand we have some students who are on the bus this morning. And so for bus 107 in Missouri, good morning to you. And that's Kansas City, Missouri. Good morning to you. So wanting to shout out to all of you this morning. I see you, Donita. Good morning to you. Now, see, Kenny, I know you're in the virtual room. Hopefully you can hear me. Kim Edmonds, I think you can see the comments as well. Kim Edmonds is saying, Kenny better talk about them Wolverines, go blue. Whatever, Kim Edmondson, whatever. Good morning, Regina. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning. Oh, then we got all this go blue filling up my chat. Maybe there's going to be a electrical outlet or something, so we don't have to talk about them. I'm just joking. Congratulations to you all again. I guess we won't live this down until we whoop y'all next year. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. All right, y'all, just let me know what you did this weekend. If you don't mind sharing, just put it in the chat. That will be great. And so let's do what we do. I'm trying to see if there's anything else before I go to the intro. Good morning, Katrina. Good morning to you. All right, y'all, let's get this party started. Yeah, so we're back, y'all. We're back. Let me see what you're saying. Those Tide of Alabama. Georgia will never forget that win. Well, there's that. John said the Go Blue showed up and showed out. Fact. Well, John, I'm with you. You know, we were texting each other during that time, talking about who sang, you know, and she belted that song out. Go UC Bearcats. Yep, I saw that in the news too. I'm sure Kenny's going to hit on all of that. Diane Ladybug says she went to the symphony for her holiday program. Amazing. There's that. And for those of you who have been asking and inquiring, both my brother and my sister is on here as well. Thank you for lifting up our mom in prayer. Um, she is doing okay. So that's where we are right now with that. So thank you. Continue to send prayers. We would absolutely appreciate that. Send prayers also for my dad and for the five of us so that we can balance everything and what she's dealing with. So thank you for those of you who have inquired and asked about Virginia Pryor. Y'all, Robert Dole passed yesterday morning at the age of 98 in his sleep. Former World War II hero and former senator. The statement from his family reads, Senator Robert Joseph Dole died early this morning. That was on yesterday morning in his sleep at his death at age 98. He had served the United States of America faithfully for 79 years, according to a statement from his family. All right, y'all, you decide. We're going to talk about it. Now, what I'm getting ready to give you is going to be something that we're going to roll out come first quarter of 2022. But I think it's so important. Oh, let me back up a moment. Y'all, we want to officially announce. I was like, wait a minute, I got to give this announcement. Thank you for sending that in. I see you up there, Dominic. We want to officially announce that Lexi Williams, y'all remember her? She was on with us during the 1 year anniversary back in June. She was going from middle school to high school. She is now in the 9th grade. I cannot remember her school. I want to say it's Obet's High School, maybe, or somewhere around in there. If anybody knows the high school, Mama, if you're on here, put it in the chat. But she has officially become our News in Motion High School ambassador. So we just want to give her a shout out. We want to congratulate her from time to time when she's not in the school, not unless school gives her permission. She may come in next year to just share some information. She's going to let us know what high schoolers are asking for, so we make sure we are going to touch on all that. So we just want to say congrats. She is a faithful viewer. I don't know how she's always viewing when she's at school, but she's a faithful viewer. I guess she's on that cell phone underneath her desk watching. I don't know, but she is a faithful viewer. So we wanted to say that. So shout out to Lexi Williams as our 9th grader high school ambassador. So I wanted to say that. All right, y'all, this is going to be let's see. Shirley says, good morning to my News in Motion family, and good morning it is. For today, my handsome guy turns 88. Well, happy birthday to your handsome guy. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, y'all, you decide. And I'm going to do a little teaching this morning, but hopefully this will help you not just with news, but when you're researching candidates, legislatures, bills, all of that, you'll be able to utilize. I thought it would be great to do this here in the wake of what happened. Let's talk about this. CNN fires Chris Como. And then there's a whole write-up in several different publications, but I want to talk about it here from the New York Times. I'm going to break this down a little bit. And again, you may want pen or paper. If you got a great memory, just make sure you're jotting this down. Now, he was considered the star anchor. He had the viewers. He was in competition with Rachel Maddow with that 9 p.m. Eastern time slot. And with that, he was the one that people were talking about. He was the one who had COVID. He's the one talking about his journey with COVID. And he is in love. He and his brother have authentic love relationship, and they're biological brothers. And that's the former governor, Andrew Cuomo. All right. So on Saturday, CNN terminated him after it was like a downward spiral. Okay. Because he had his efforts of helping his brother with his sexual assault accusations. Now, former Governor Andrew Cuomo announced his resignation on August the 10th. Now, he left the office 14 days later, which was, some say August 23rd, some say August 24th. Excuse me. Now, Chris Cuomo was suspended on Tuesday after testimony and text messages released by the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, revealed a more intimate and engaged role in his brother's political affairs. Now I want y'all to hear this. Again, here's his picture, just so that you can have it. There's his picture there. So you all know who I'm talking about. So what was happening is that he came forward. He even made I guess he asked for an apology or made an announcement or whatever, that he did help. All right. So with all of this, now that was August. Again, you decide. You decide. Let's talk about it. So how we unpack things when we're looking at news, we're looking at different sources. So we're going to NPR, we're going to PBS News, we're going to Associated Press News. Those are the three um, um, news sources that will always come back with all the facts. Then everybody else spins from there, whatever that looks like. So again, I want to put his picture up here. I want you to look at him. And let me be honest, I like Chris Como. Okay. So we began to unpack this and learn that on Wednesday, Deborah Katz, a prominent employment lawyer, informed CNN of a client with the allegation of sexual misconduct against Chris Como. Now, how we are unpacking this, because when we see that, you want to research that. And as we are unpacking this, some of the questions that I ask is, what is the timeline? Why the distance of the timeline? Is this the person who was actually a part of the sexual misconduct? And it comes to be a previous producer of his show who was resigning, and this was a party that he supposedly, we don't know this to be true, he touched her rear end and said, I can do this now, you're no longer my boss. But supposedly her husband was standing there too, and there's a friendship or relationship. This is all allegedly. I don't know. So here's another employee who viewed this and kept notes. Now, supposedly, she came out and told her attorney that she did not like how Chris was handling his brother. So then that's another angle. We go and research that. So now we're researching this alleged sexual misconduct. We're also looking at the timelines. We're also looking at what else is going on with Chris Como. Now, let me just go through this because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Now, it says here that this is in New York Times. It was not fully clear what role the allegation played in the CNN decision to dismiss Mr. Como. We don't know. We don't know if it's the sexual misconduct or the helping of his brother. But it brings to question that it's the helping of the brother because the president of CNN was okay even when Chris Como would bring his brother on the news and they would like have their back and forth or whatever. Some people, even 2-3 years ago, thought that was not okay. But the president okayed that. So I'm still digging because we're like, okay, but here's over here. Now, y'all know when stuff happens, you see the contract and everything. So this popped up over here and you're going through to see they inserted that he could work with his brother. So it's like, what's really going on here? This is how you research news, y'all. You just can't take the spin. You just can't take the narrative. You have to go deeper to get an understanding of what's going on. Are y'all following me? I don't see y'all commenting here. Y'all following me? Now, it goes on to say Mr. Como's spokesperson responded that the former anchor fully stands by his own on-air statements about his connection to these issues, both professionally and in profoundly personal way. It says if the goal in making these false and unvetted accusations was to see Mr. Como punished by CNN, then that explains the unwarranted termination. Now, they keep going on and say they retained a respected law firm to conduct the review. So we're looking at this. Then in another statement, it says that by Friday, this is Mrs. Katz, the attorney for the person with the sexual misconduct claim. I was in discussion with CNN about providing documentary evidence of my client's allegations and making my client available for an interview. That happened. Then it goes on, like it just keeps building. It just keeps building. Davia says, I'm hurt. Listen, Davia, I feel the same way because I like Chris Como. I like his wife too. So I'm going through, and then this person with the sexual misconduct allegation says it troubled her that he was supporting his brother. I don't know. And then it goes on and says, this is a statement from Chris Como. This is This is not how I want my time at CNN to end, but I have already told you why and how I helped my brother, Chris Cuomo said in a statement on Saturday. He goes on to say, so let me now say, as disappointing as this is, I could not be more proud of the team at Como Prime Time and the work we did as CNN's #1 show, which it was #1 show in the most competitive time slot, and that was against Rachel Maddow. And then it goes on to say that Jeff Zucker, the president of CNN, had given him no disciplinary actions for his behind the scenes strategizing for his brother because they're brothers, they're family. I don't know. But when you unpack these, you got to go all the way back to the documents, the documentation of where it comes from. So what I share with you right now, I haven't even gotten the NPR yet, and I'm going to go fast, but I want y'all to get this and see where I'm headed here. Y'all, just at this point, there are 5 stories. There are 5 stories. And you have to determine which story, which track do you want to go down? Hi, Devlin High School. You want to go through which track you decide to run with. But when you decide to determine a track, you then have to build on the information and begin to connect the dots. If the dots do not connect, you continue to have 5 stories, or you can spin those 5 stories into 5 more. So now you have 10 stories. So you have to identify, and this is the digging into, well, what really happened? Where did this come from all of a sudden? Why did she decide to come forward? Stuff that we ask, and we never want to attack the person who files and gives the alleged sexual misconduct. We want to believe, until proven guilty. That should stand for everyone. The person is innocent until proven guilty, but the other person, we have to believe until proven that it's not true. So you're dealing with 2 sides here. So even today, when I was putting this together, I decided, and I'm going to be completely transparent with you all, that I was going to take the middle road. And I was going to take the middle road and say, let's talk about it and let's see how we unpack this. I gave you 5 stories from one source. That's just one source. So then we have NPR, who has concluded that Chris Cuomo's offenses were also contractual. Well, that's where the contract comes in. When you hear that, and when that's out there, it becomes public. You can look it up, and we were able to do that. And it says that he failed to disclose to his bosses that he had actually done, even as they were defending him publicly, talking about supporting his brother. But when you go back to August the 24th, he did come out and say that. And that's where the president, Jeff Zucker, said no disciplinary action is going to be given. And he did an apology online. Well, I don't even know if it's an apology. He's like, yeah, I helped my brother. He's just raw like that. Yep, I did it. I helped my brother. He did that. All right, so let me keep going. CNN said he was wrong to participate in strategy calls with Governor Cuomo's aides, but that his own involvement was limited to being a sounding board. So they kind of like gave him an out. See, you got to follow the stories, y'all. Then it goes on and says, Chris Cuomo had previously admitted giving advice to his brother. Well, this is where I get stuck. Wouldn't you give advice to your siblings, to your spouse, to your parents? I don't know. And then it says documents released by the AG's office raise new questions. Well, what documents? So we're digging for those documents now and don't have all the information yet. Then it goes on to say, when Chris admitted that he had offered advice to his brother's staff, he broke his rules. This is CNN speaking. He broke our rules, and we acknowledge that publicly. That's what the spokesperson said on Tuesday. So if y'all acknowledge that, why are we here? Do y'all see how I'm unpacking this? Why are we here, and why are we here now? So they pulled him off of the air. There's now this sexual allegation. John Gore says blood is thicker than water all day. So that's where I'm at. It's like, what do you do here? So it's still unpacking. It's still unfolding. So here on News in Motion, I don't have a solid report for you. I wanted to give you some tools of how you go down these different avenues. And let me just share this. This is why we do Patreon. And I'm going to put this plug in here right now. This is why we do Patreon, because we want to be able to speak the truth. And that's why we need people like you who are our viewers to sew into, to become a Patreon member so that we can keep speaking this way. As we've been looking at different sponsors, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, they go and then check all of our tapes. And if what we talk about does not line up with what they want to support, they'll either try to alter what we're saying, or they say we can't give you any funds. This story right here took more than 8 hours to research, because you're reading, you're waiting, you're looking. So the time involvement, because I wanted to bring you the facts and the truth, and I still land at, I'm not real sure what's going on here. So y'all, you can go to patreon.com/newsinmotion and become a Patreon member. $15 a month. Or you can say, I'm going to just sew into this, and you can do that. Now, right at this moment, we are not a 501c3, but come January, we are partnering with Kim Edmondson's husband, Al Edmondson, with his nonprofit, and we'll be able to receipt you that way. So stay tuned. Y'all, things are unfolding, and we now have a clear direction of where we're going and how we're going to get there. But if you want to continue to hear truth and fact and how we dig into this and honesty, and not just the spin that you're getting on news all over the place, and not everyone spins, we want to be able to bring that to you, but we're going to need your help. So there it is. There's that. All right, y'all, let's talk COVID before I bring Kenny in. Ooh, that took up more time than I expected it to. Let's talk COVID. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky on Sunday said that the number of Omicron coronavirus cases, wow, say that real fast, in the United States is likely to rise, and a newly discovered variant has already been detected. This newly discovered variant has already been detected in 16 states, fueling concerns about the strain's ability to drive up a new wave of infection. Let me give it to you. Washington, California, Utah, Colorado, Connecticut, Minnesota, Nebraska, Missouri, Louisiana, New Jersey, Georgia, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, Maryland, and Hawaii. There you have it. Omicron fuels the case for COVID boosters, and experts are now saying that boosters may soon become a requirement to be considered fully vaccinated. Here's the truth. And looking at the CDC this weekend on something else I was looking at, 5 months. They give you 5 months with the 2 vaccinations that you received before. They're now saying boosters will mean you're fully vaccinated. Per the CDC, what they know, how easily does Omicron spread? The Omicron variant will likely spread more easily than the original SARS-CoV-2 virus, and how easily Omicron spreads compared to Delta remains unknown. They're looking at Delta and Omicron pretty much neck to neck. Will Omicron cause more severe illness? They're not sure yet. Will vaccines work against Omicron? They're not sure about that either. Will treatment work against Omicron? Scientists are working to determine how well existing treatments for COVID-19 work. All right, I said a whole lot there. They don't know. That's the short of it. This is coming straight from the CDC because of the work that we are doing with the CDC. And of course, I have to show y'all one of these. So take a look at this one. I love that commercial. I don't know why. And again, I'm going to say, whoever makes up these commercials with the CDC and puts the music together, you know they got it going on. Let me show you the image of what they're putting out there as Omicron variant. And you can visit www.cdc.gov for more information. Y'all, there are now 787,000 deaths in the United States, more this year than last year. And just in case, as you are putting together your plans to travel, I'm not saying don't do it, but you should just be aware a Norwegian cruise ship with COVID infections arrived in New Orleans, and they had traveled to Belize, Honduras, and Mexico, both passengers and crew were affected. All right, y'all, it's that time, y'all. This man is bad. So stay tuned. Kenny Stanley's coming up next.
Hello, News in Motion family. Welcome to the weekend wrap up here on the End Zone with me, Kenny Stanley. This was championship weekend in college football, and here are some scores. In the Pac-12 championship game, Utah punched their ticket to the Rose Bowl to face the Ohio State Buckeyes by beating Oregon for the second time in 2 weeks, 38-10. In the SEC championship, Alabama upset Georgia 41-24. I don't want to hear anything else about the Georgia Bulldogs this year or next. In the Big Ten championship, that team up north, yeah, Kim, I said it. That team up north beat Iowa 42-3. And in the American Athletic Conference championship, the Cincinnati Bearcats beat Houston Cougars 35-20. These four teams, number one Alabama versus Cincinnati, and Georgia versus Michigan, will start playing the playoffs starting on December 31st to see who will play for the national championship on June 10th, 2022. Go Bearcats! In the NFL, Detroit jumped off the no-win bandwagon by beating the Vikings 29-27. Tampa Bay beat the Falcons 30-17. The Cardinals got back to their winning ways by topping the Chicago Bears 33-22. The Bengals fell to the Chargers 41-22. And Latrice Jones and Steelers topped the Ravens 20-19. In other NFL news, I found this interesting. In other NFL news, you see that the rules and punishment are handled just like in real life. Punishment is never the same when it comes to people of color. Here's what I'm talking about. Tampa Bay wide receiver Antonio Brown received a 3-game suspension for violating the NFL and the NFL Players Association COVID-19 protocol. He should have been suspended for misrepresenting his vaccination status. Here's what I'm talking about when it comes to being fair when handling punishment. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, misrepresented his status and was only found out after he tested positive for COVID-19. What was his punishment? $14,650. He missed one game as he went through testing to clear himself to play the next week. As you can see, punishment is different for people of color, even in the NFL. That's a wrap in sports here in the End Zone. Thank you so much.
Kenny, I just love this. I just love it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and putting this all together.
Yeah. Yep. Let's go Bearcats.
He said, yep.
Up north. I said I didn't want to hear nothing else about the Bulldogs, but hopefully they pulled one out.
And you know they on here dogging you. They said, go ahead. They said, go ahead and say their name. Talking about that place up blue.
Even to make them happy, I put on blue this morning just to make them happy. But this hurts. This hurts. Like I lost the bet.
What'd you say, Kenny?
It's like I lost the bet. Got to put on blue. I don't like blue.
Well, thank you so much for the End Zone. We look forward to hearing you on next Monday.
I can't wait. All right.
Y'all, speaking of sports, Dallas Morning News is reporting that Mark Cuban, the owner of Dallas Mavericks, buys an entire Texas town, of Mustang. The town currently has 23 people. He decided he wanted to help a friend out. Mark Cuban says in a quote, "I don't know if anything I will do with it, but I just basically wanted to help a friend out and get him out of debt." Okay, so he's going to buy a town. Well, that's what Mark Cuban, that's who he is. That's what he does. All right, y'all, let's talk about this real quick. Meanwhile, we have these parents. I want to know if y'all saw this because it's really bothering me. It really is. They were just on the run. They was just trying to run. They weren't even helping out their own son who got in trouble in the first place. Now, the Detroit area artist whose studio where the parents of the Oxford High School students charged in a deadly shooting were found by police as cooperating with authorities and say they didn't know if the couple had stayed there overnight. But that's what his attorney is reporting. Now, James and Jennifer Crumbly, yes, I'm putting their faces up there, who face involuntary manslaughter counts, were found early on Saturday inside of the artist studio. The couple's attorneys have said they didn't intend to flee. How can you not intend to flee? But that's what they're saying. But the other thing I want to say about this, man, if we could just have that same kind of respect when we running. Now, I don't think we should be running from anything, but come on, give us the same respect. Go on a manhunt if you're looking for anybody looks like me, and then handcuff us and take us and don't shoot us. I don't understand how this is unfolding, y'all. And then some of the news reports, get this. I guess the son had gotten in trouble for drawing a picture of blood and all this on while he was in classroom. And the teacher, they notified the parents. The mom then texts the son. There's text messages that are out there that says, I'm not mad at you. Just learn how to not get caught. What? We do that? We tell our children that? I don't get it. But that's what is happening, y'all. It's just so crazy. It's so crazy. All right, y'all, 2 must-watch movies before I give y'all the inspirational message. 1, A Gospel Christmas on Lifetime with Kirk Franklin, and 2, The Christmas Bond by Holly Robinson Peete and Nick Sanchez, an actor with autism. I just want those 2 movies. I cried on both of those, like boohoo cry, ugly cry, ugly cry, ugly cry. All right, y'all, here's the inspirational message. Be so in tune with God that the moment you feel something, you pause and pray. The moment you feel something, you pause and pray. On Friday, I was looking for my Christmas stuff so I can decorate and all that, and I was going through different boxes. Well, I came across a box that clearly had never been open. And I just pushed it aside, still looking for the Christmas stuff. And I'm getting that I need to show this other video, but I'm gonna get to that in a moment. We may, and if not, I'll just get in trouble. No big deal. So I'm unpacking it and the Christmas stuff, but I kept going back to this box. I'm like, what is in this box? So I opened up the box. Many of you know that I celebrated 30 years of marriage on November the 30th. And I'm opening up this box, and I'm gonna put the pictures up later, but all of this packaging is around all of these, which were clearly champagne flutes. And I got one, I'm gonna show you. This was what was in there. This was a part of my fine china collection from Lazarus when I got married. These were still in a box. So I'm unwrapping them, determined, why am I saving this? What special occasion am I going to use this for? But y'all, as I was going through stuff, I kept being drawn back to this box that was never open. Now, this box was inside of a UPS box, and on the UPS box, it said, "Thank you, sent." It even gave the date, which was November 1991. And I was like, this is so odd. Why do I have this? So as I'm unwrapping them, I get to the bottom of the box. And John Gore, you'll follow this. I get to the bottom of the box. It wasn't from John Gore. I had their gift. At the bottom of the box, and it's the card. Well, the card had been at the bottom of the box. And by the way, y'all, this box had to have moved at least 9 times. And not one of the champagne flutes were broken. Not one. And I was like, God, why did you keep taking me back to this box? I couldn't even focus on the Christmas decorations because I was focused on this box as I'm opening it and I'm taking them out and I'm washing them. I'm like, I'm having mimosa today with this champagne flute. Yes, I am. Wine, goblet, whatever you want to call it. So as I'm doing that, I get to the bottom and there's this card. And I'm trying to open the card, but the card is stuck because it had been in the bottom of the box for 30 years, 3 decades. I finally find a way to peel open the card, and it says, "Congratulations on your marriage and love you both." And then it was the person who signed it that sent chills through my body. And that is, well, they're deceased now, my cousin and his wife. It said David and Marilyn Pryor. That's my first cousin. David and Marilyn Pryor. They were killed in an airplane crash going from Columbus to Atlanta, Georgia for the holidays. I contacted my sister first. I said, look at this. And I sent it to my brother and my sister who's on here. And I said, y'all, look at this, look at this. And so my sister says, Gail, do you know they were killed on a December Friday? I opened this on a Friday, y'all. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening or what God is speaking to me, but I'm paying attention. So, y'all be so in tune with God that the moment you feel something, you pause and you pray. So, then I reached out to their sisters, my cousin, Teresa and Tracy. And I said, y'all, look at this. And so Tracy comes back and says, wow, what a wonderful anniversary gift sent from above. And so I told them what my oldest sister said. And they were like, we knew she was going to go there with this. So then my oldest cousin, Teresa, says to me, interesting. Earlier this week, I had two other conversations about David and Marilyn. She goes, God is sending us a message. What's the message? So we're now pausing and praying about what is the message. That's one part of the inspirational message. The other part of it is stop waiting to use something because it's nice. And that for me, that came down from my grandmother. Only use this for special occasions. Well, every day is now a special occasion because 787,000 people in the US have died from coronavirus, and we don't know who's next. Or you can just walk down the street, or you can go to the mall, or you could go to school and find out you're not leaving the school that day. Now, y'all, this is another reason why we need to pray and worship for one another. Pray for one another and worship Jesus Christ, our Savior, because we have a new life. We have another opportunity to breathe. But y'all, pause on it. When you see I could have dismissed that box, and the box could still be taped up, and the box could be traveling with me, whoever, wherever next, or thrown away, or whatever. But the fact that there was something on the inside of me saying, look at that box, look at that box, look at the box, look at the box. And literally, I had to put the tree on stuff like, whatever, let me go see what's in this box. And in this box, and the card wasn't on the top, it was on the bottom. And when I opened that up, I said, God, what are you speaking? Y'all, don't be in such a hurry that you're missing the voice of God. Don't be in that kind of a hurry that you're missing the voice of God. Walk with God. Be still with God. Hear from God. Let me go back to those two movies. It was Latrice Jones who told me about the movie A Christmas Bond. Again, it's all about autism. And that movie, I cried like crazy. But even with that, and they were given the narrative of how people whisper behind their back because she's walking down the street with her son who has autism, or the comments that people made, the divorce that came about because of that situation. Just so much there to unpack. It makes you pause and say, okay, God, even in this movie, what are you speaking to me? Then the other movie, The Gospel Christmas on Lifetime with Kirk Franklin. And this was the problem I had on Saturday, was that they had both Black movies back to back. Why? Or competing for your time. But thankfully the other one came on the next day as well. But even with the Kirk Franklin movie, I know I'm over time, hold on, y'all. Even with the Kirk Franklin movie, I cried. The music, the hurt. This woman, and this was the story, and supposedly this is a true story to some degree with why the girl was not singing. Her mother is a singer, and her mother, they called it a singing pastor, I think is how it was. And the girl, when she was 14, she thought she was doing great singing a song, and the worship music leader just kind of like just destroyed her confidence, everything. Said, oh, and I'm paraphrasing here, oh, you're nothing. You really can't sing. You got a singing mama. Your family's a singing family, and you're horrible. My paraphrase. And how that damaged her until she was in her 30s when she got into a situation, she came out. What am I saying even with this? Y'all, watch what we're saying about people. That could be a gift that God wants utilized in the world. And because of what you said through your mouth with your tongue that caused death, upon somebody else. So be mindful of the things that you are saying. If we're not building up, that means we're tearing down, or we're not promoting them, we're not putting them out there. Be careful what you say. That's part one. And part two, be so in tune with God that the moment you feel something, you pause and pray. All right, y'all, remember John Gore and his family. The funeral and calling hours are this Wednesday, and the passing of his mom. Pastor Alex also celebrated a birthday last week on Thursday, the same time that Davia celebrated her birthday. So I wanted to call him out. Others of you, again, you can now send in, and we will call out as many as we can. If you have a birthday, an anniversary, or whatever like that, we want to celebrate you. All right, y'all, that was a whole lot. Tomorrow, I can't wait to come on here tomorrow. We already have tomorrow mapped out of what we're going to do. And again, congratulations to Lexi Williams for being our high school ambassador. She watches News in Motion almost every day. I'm like, how you doing this and you in school? All right, y'all, y'all know what I say. Stay well, and remember, make some bold moves.